It could explain Acts 7:21 and 22, and more specifically the part where it says that Moses was a good speaker, which seems to contradict Exodus 6:12. Acts 7:21 and 22 says, "But when he was exposed to death, the daughter of the Pharaoh took him and raised him as her own son." Moses was instructed in all the wisdom of the Egyptians and was powerful in his words and deeds. So, since there is a semicolon, this is obviously not in the Hebrew, but it is in the sense of understanding the verse, as it speaks throughout the life of Moses. Moses was instructed in all the wisdom of the Egyptians, that is true, since he was raised with the Pharaoh. As the daughter of the Pharaoh says here, being educated in something does not necessarily mean one knows how to express it, on one hand, because it is more or less what you are referring to with the question, or what seems contradictory. Moses responded before Yahweh, Exodus 6:12, "The children of Israel do not listen to me, since I have just said in all the wisdom of the Egyptians. How will Pharaoh listen to me, who am slow of speech?" Now, on one hand, if we see it as I cannot speak, it can be understood that, I repeat, having wisdom does not necessarily mean one has the ability to express it. But on the other hand, let us remember that, as I said before, Moses was the most humble man. Then that may also be part of the reason why he would say, "How am I going to speak if there are better speakers?" As a humble person, he would very likely think or speak this way. But on the other hand, and this may be the main answer to your question, when Moses was a child, we see in the book of Jasher that he took the crown of the Pharaoh and put it on his head. And the wise men of the Pharaoh said, "This is a sign that he is going to take the kingdom from you, so we should kill him." Then Yahweh sent a messenger as a servant of the Pharaoh and said to him, "What do you think if we conduct a test to avoid killing an innocent child? Perhaps he took the crown without knowing what he was doing. So let us place before him a burning coal and a precious stone that looks similar in color to the burning coal. If he takes the burning coal, we will realize that he did not know what he was doing. But if he takes the precious stone, we will know that he knew what he was doing, and for that we will kill him." Then, when both were placed in front of him, Moses extended his hand to try to grab the precious stone, but the angel ensured that his hand moved to grab the coal in order to save him. But Moses, as a child, grabbed the coal and put it in his mouth, burning his mouth and his tongue. This made it difficult for him to speak. So, being slow of speech would indicate that because of that problem he had with his tongue, it was difficult for him to speak. Therefore, even if he had the wisdom to express himself, it would not come out in the best way. It was not going to sound like perhaps many people would expect it to sound, a speaker, having all the capabilities in his mouth, with his tongue and so on. That is why Yahweh tells him, "But I made them mute," as if to say, if there is something that needs to be healed, I can heal it. That is the least of my concerns, and for a reason, I chose him. On the other hand, it is also mentioned that Moses, at the beginning, without taking anything away, but connecting it to what you are asking, can be seen as making progress throughout the 5 books of the Torah. And by the time we reach Deuteronomy, Devarim, which serves as the summary of the first 4 books, we can see a much deeper oratory from Moses, as if experience had led him to become a better speaker. Then it says, "But when exposed to death, the daughter of the Pharaoh picked him up and raised him as her own son." Moses was instructed in all the wisdom of the Egyptians and was powerful in his words and deeds. Once Yahweh chooses him, he makes him powerful in words and deeds, for he would say, and it would happen. The plagues were unleashed, and everything else that occurred in the Exodus